Hi, I'm Dave Bukunus, Creative Director for Going With Style, a nonprofit theater group here in Tucson. I'd like to invite you to join us to see the Roar of the Greasepaint, the Smell of the Crowd, August 11th through the 20th at the TCC Little Theater. Tickets are $6 and $4. You can buy them at the TCC outlets or at the door. And seated around me is the cast of this show, and we'd all like to invite you to join us August 11th through the 20th at the Little Theater. Right?
Right.
Right on.
Talking about the pencil is something. Why was it oversized? Did we ever come up with a reason why it was oversized?
Why the book was oversized?
Yeah,
the
book
pencil was oversized. Well, you were talking about doing it was a Game of Life. But it was a cartoon version of the game. It was the animated version of the Game of Life. So everything's very large and out of proportion.
Do you think the critics missed that? Do you think they would have understood that?
Obviously, they didn't understand it.
I don't know if they wanted to.
This is a move. Nothing to lose but the game. Go forward, 47!
Oh, calm down. You're being silly.
Don't give a kick this cuss. Go forward, 99.
Where's all this? Give up.
Up in Mabel's room, go forward, 148.
You're behaving like a country-rotten little snake. You know I wasn't ready.
Right!
I always thought the book should have been instead of a book, a large manila folder. We're all supposed to be enshrined somewhere in Washington in a large manila folder. That would have been fun.
Would that have been too political, though?
Maybe, but I remember that letter you got, so.
True.
That letter from the crazy woman who said that we were, what, religious infidels or something, and that...
You got a letter saying we were religious infidels?
He did, from somebody's mother, unsigned.
Yeah.
We don't know who it's from,
It's
but
a strange...
I thought
it was addressed... It was
Somebody's mother from the cast?
seems like it. You know whose mother I thought it was.
Mike Padilla's mother had
No.
to have been. Whoa.
I'm not,
Anybody who drives an orange...
that was Jay's mother, to be perfectly honest, but I remember Jay's mother at the beginning of FTV. I don't want to talk about it. I saw Jay today.
I was thinking about Jay. Let's go back to Greasepaint.
Thanks.
Go back to Greasepaint. With it being a living cartoon, did you find it hard to play that as a performer?
Oh, you mean the animated version of the Game of Life?
Yeah.
Oh, no. It was the Game of Life. It was the animated version of the Game of Life. And playing a cartoon in the Game of Life it held no problems, it held no mysteries. Incredibly interesting. Very interesting.
Did you and Randy talk about this?
No. A lot.
Did you find it easy to work with Randy?
Very much so. We knew what we were going to do. We knew how we were going to play off each other. And there's a dog in front. So anyway, no, we worked very well.
I need to drink some coffee.
Give me the lighter,
If I drink any more coffee, you will be able to talk to me.
Give me the lighter, my dear. My dear, pass me the lighter.
Pass me the lighter.
God, my mind's simply real.
Stop thinking about what's going on backstage and just listen.
There were a lot of things that you learned with this. You know, this was a risk for you. You'd never sung other than, what was it, that boys choir for the Cub Scout pack or something?
Well, it was a Boy Scout. Oh God, blasphemy past. You hate to admit it, but yes, I was a Boy Scout when I was 13, 14, 15, just barely an adolescent. And what I did was I was the song leader.
No, you're confusing the part you're playing now.
No. I was the song leader for the Boy Scout troop 57, Hudson Falls, New York. And we would lead,
Are you serious about this?
Yes, I'm very serious. We would do songs like John Jacob Jingleheimer Schmidt is there, 1 and 2, whenever we go out. People always shout, there goes John Jacob Jingle, never straight, da da da, that sort of thing, and just, you know, beer songs for adolescents who couldn't really drink beer at that point in their lives.
Peter, were you a choir boy?
No, never. I was never a choir
Were you a
boy.
collection boy?
Altar boy.
I was an altar boy.
You were an altar boy.
Altar boy in the Catholic Church. Then Mary Magdalene appeared before me and said, "This is all bullshit. Don't
I was
listen."
wondering about Catholics that dress small boys in dresses.
It makes you wonder.
We're precious, it didn't make us bad persons. That's all.
Do you? Never mind.
You learned anything out of this? You come away
With
with
the Greasepaint?
Yeah.
Oh, yes. Yes. And amazing, we went through a lot of rehearsals.
I recovered from dysentery.
Yeah, we went through a lot.
The whole singing aspect of the play was amazing. I mean, the rehearsals over and over again of you know, the songs and the notes, and this is how it's going to be opening night, and get ready, you've got to sing like this because this is the way it was performed. And having never sung before in front of an audience, it was an incredibly difficult thing.
It isn't enough to dream. It isn't enough to plot and plan and scheme. It isn't enough to stand here singing like
Would you do it again?
Yes.
I'll be a musical comedy star yet.
Yes. Yes. I would do it again. I don't know if I'd do the same things again. I thought it was a great experience. Anybody who says it wasn't didn't understand what we did. Didn't understand the ideas.
How did you feel when Jay Lehman took over for you? That's a scary thing for any actor to have to deal
yes.
with someone else taking the part that you're
for someone for someone to be that good enough from the chorus to come up and say, "Well, I can do this. I can do it just as well as old what's his name, you know."
And then doing it.
I thought the next week I came back, it was going to be, well, you know, you were okay in rehearsals, but we've got somebody right now who's doing real well. So, but it was a real scary thing. I didn't know if I was going to be able to. I didn't know if you'd want me back after.
Well, we polled the cast, please, and
It was a close decision.
it was a close decision.
But your fan club kept right on rooting
That's
for
right.
you.
We put you against Gary Trent, and we were going to have Gary come back and say his role again. That was admirably filled by Adele's little boy. Not
For a night. No, for a night, my friend.
For the one night
This
tops.
is the partnerless urchin here.
You were the partner in the session?
She never had a partner.
Never. I went through 4. I must be bad luck.
On a wonderful morning like this, when the sun is as big as a yellow balloon, even the sparrows.
You never noticed that I ended up with no partner.
No, you see, when I directed this thing, I never felt the urchins should have dance partners. I felt that they should be individual, unique little soldiers there, or whatever. That way, the way the rehearsals went, where some days we had 1, some days we had 6, some days we had 3, some days there was an excuse here and
Some
there.
days there were 42
It was impossible.
I think
to
you
take
threw
control
Perry
of
at
this.
us.
I threw.
Never mind.
It doesn't make any difference.
It
who
doesn't
was.
matter now.
This isn't what we
No,
want to take.
Perry was something that was a real interesting situation.
Yes.
I had to have somebody who A, would not fit in.
Worked.
God willing, he would fit in.
Didn't work.
Somebody who it wasn't going to matter who was interesting to watch.
If he'd have
But you see-
bathed. I
What?
couldn't dealt with him if he'd have bathed. I couldn't get within 40 feet of that man without going, somebody bathe
That's
him.
one of the
You're
chief
gonna throw him
regrets
with
I
them.
have on this show.
That you didn't bathe him? Me
No.
too.
That I gave in. I gave in
All
on
he had to
about
do was
14
bathe
or
and
15
shut up.
points, one of which was the lighting.
Shut up.
That would help, because he's only got the one mic there, and we can't turn you two off until it's your time, so you just, which is great, let me know. Lighting was wrong,
Don't act
Harry
Peter.
was a wrong choice.
Don't annoy me.
Go back to Peter.
Yes.
There were more as we went down.
Harriet was a wrong
Jim-
choice?
No.
I know.
Lighting.
Oh, lighting, okay.
Harry was a wrong choice.
Harry, yes,
Lighting
Harriet
a
was not a
choice.
wrong choice.
Allowing the set to be put off and put off and put off without the resolution on the game up until 2 weeks out.
In the theater, we decide, this is our
Giving
game.
in to certain demands financially, and finding out which, how some of the other theaters operate. I would do that part differently, because we put out close to about $6,000 in non-union labor. That's a lot of bananas. That's an
Big
awful
bunch of
lot.
bananas.
That's a lot of money, when you think about this and this. So, for
could have bought more
me, I
tissues.
learned that. I mean, that was a hard thing for me to have to go through.
I got a lot of
But I still felt that if people gave up X amount of dollars in time, or even come in from the east side of Marana, they deserved something. What kinds of things like that did you find? Because I know you found, besides Jay, having to deal with that was the first time someone replaced you, wasn't it?
That is the first time I have ever dropped out of a show. I mean, not dropped out, I was incredibly ill at the time, and I couldn't move. It was the first time ever in my life that I have done a part and then got to the middle of the run and said, I'm too sick, I can't do it, I just can't get it up to do it. And someone came in for me. It was amazing. I didn't think it was possible, and he did it.
Have you seen the tape? I don't remember. Have you seen the tape of him doing it?
No,
Would you like to?
very much. Very much. I think it would be interesting to watch, to see his interpretation.
In working with this show, tell me some of the things that you did that you've never done before in connection with one
Well,
complete package.
number one is singing. Never done it. Number two is the whole musical comedy syndrome. When you do a musical comedy, it's completely different from a comedy, a drama, because the emotions involved and the technique involved in doing a musical comedy is completely different from what you've done before. If you've never done a musical comedy before, to go in and do one is a stretch. It's an amazing stretch for any actor.
Had you ever done a commercial before?
Yes, I did a commercial 3 years ago for the Invisible. It was Taming of the Shrew. It was a Shakespearean play. Diametrically opposed to what I did in Greasepaint.
How's that?
Shakespeare is a different realm for an actor than a musical comedy is Greasepaint. It's just two completely different types of acting.
Have you ever had to tell-
Well, wait a minute. Maybe Shakespeare is big. Shakespeare is a big, at least the part I played in Taming of the Shrew is a big, boisterous, loud part. R.O.G the Greasepaint was a big, loud, boisterous part. The part I played. So, maybe not all that different, but we keep coming back to the singing. Singing is a totally different realm from anything I've ever done before.
How did you find working with Harriet Stanley?
Very well. Harriet's a hell of a teacher. An incredible teacher. She made me do things with my voice that I thought were not possible with my voice.
We've talked about the singing. What about the dancing? How hard was that for you to do?
The dancing, capital T, capital D, dancing. Fortunately, the
Capital T, capital D?
I didn't have to do too many capital T, capital D. They left me out of that basically.
Your character did
The character didn't dance, but the urchins and Sir and the kid did the dancing, and they did a hell of a job. When you watch, put it in the book, and you'll see putting it in the book later on. It's I watch the moves. I mean, everybody's right there. They're right on top of what they're doing. It's real
Fun.
good.
Fuzzy.
Me, I'm good.
Go over to Fuzzy for a second.
Fuzzy.
Yeah.
Well, you're breaking up. Why?
It was fun.
How could it have been better?
How could it have been better?
Lila would have had a partner.
Mine would have a partner, that would have helped.
Did you have fun with that? Because that was the one number in the show, one of them, that just kind of blossomed. And the sound that the orchestra made, the orchestra, they call it tactically the three-piece combo, matched the performer's sound. And there was energy that came out.
I always considered Put It in the Book the beginning of the long haul, because I had put it in the book, then Fuzzy crawled on my shoulders, then I crawled under the dragon, then I got out from under the dragon, and Fuzzy crawled back on my shoulders. By the end of that stretch, I couldn't breathe. It was like, here we go! It's like, for the next half an hour, I'm going to be running.
And you did.
But didn't you enjoy doing it?
Put It in the Book was
Did
fun.
you find it fun to do?
I really enjoyed doing the show. The 2 hours on stage was a blast.
Yeah.
Because
Every
that comes
night.
across. That comes across.
We had a good time.
Oh,
I mean, I
yeah.
don't care
On
what
stage,
was
we were
going on.
having a great time.
We had a good time.
I mean, me and Fuzzy used to hold conversations and talk about how much we hated everybody.
We never talked about how much we hated anybody. It was annoying. It was never hating that cat.
Okay.
This is a scene from Put It in the Book, and if you hold it up. Now this scene, is the energy at the end of Put It in the Book, and where you can just feel it coming out. That was
Did
something
it play that well?
it played beautifully. It played just beautifully. How did you feel, Fuzz?
Doing it?
Do-
I felt wonderful doing Put It in the Book. It was one of my favorite numbers in the whole show. The interaction between Peter and I was fun. We had some good stuff going on over there. But it was a lot of fun.
What did you say to him? Because you'd go up and you'd talk to him on stage. What did you say?
Oh, I tell him, Cookie, maybe someday you'll be all right. Yeah, and then when everybody started dancing, I looked at him and said, see, Cookie, they're doing a good job. Why can't you?
Now, did she really say this stuff to you?
Yes.
He hated my
Yes.
style. It's all right, try it again.
Every night, and she would say, erase this. And I had the pencil, which is a huge piece
Turn it
of
around.
wood with no eraser on it.
Lots of eraser.
She'd go, cross this out, this is wrong, and and cross it out
bad.
again, and then for the third time, it was an inspired bit of acting, inspired by her annoyance. Because she annoyed the hell out of me. I took the pencil and took a swing at her. If I had...
I only barely got out of the way, and one night he nailed me.
One night
Did it get you?
Yes.
One night I caught her.
It caught me good.
Right across the top of the head.
And after this, I get to dance some more.
Yes, and it's like, do a little dance in there.
Did you ever drop character on stage? Did you ever, say things, in between each other? Because I know
Yeah.
The last night on Saturday, I don't know if you'll see it in the videotape, but the final night there was what they gave me. When I drink the wine, usually it was very tepid Kool-Aid, unsweetened, no sugar, very bad tart Kool-Aid. The last night they caught me. They went out and they bought a gallon of Gallo Hardy Burgundy. A fine wine if you're cleaning out your rain gutters. But other than that, it's pretty bad. So I took a big swig and realized the fact that it was Hardy Burgundy and not
But amused in the old vintage.
not Hardy Kool-Aid. Rather shocked. So I dropped. That's one of the nights I dropped character. I just went. Wasn't too pleased about what I got.
Right. Now you and Lila are good friends.
Yeah.
Okay. Did you two play any special games?
Special games?
On stage.
Well, special games there.
Because you were Kid. Now, and Kid was running things. Now, did you give her an especially hard time at any point? Did you have your own subtext that you were
Yeah. I gave her a real hard time when the chicken leg bit. I slapped her down so many times. This woman's bigger than me and will hurt me at will. I had my shot. I took it.
Everybody takes their shot when they get it. It's funny feeling I have enemies.
No enemies.
Friends like you who need them.
Just hostile friends.
Friends.
Who was the leader of the urchins? Who would you say would have been the urchin leader?
Who led the urchins
Yeah.
from my point of view?
Yeah. I was looking more on the personal side amongst the cast. Because Mary Jo was the small one.
It's not enough. It's not enough. It's not enough. Enough.
There was a lot of camaraderie between them. I don't think they really had a set leader. There was a lot of input from everybody. I think the motivating forces behind the creative work, to be honest, would have to say Lila, Rocky, Doug, Mary Jo put in some interesting stuff. Jay was very quiet, but Jay was a constant input.
Taught me how to do a back walkover. What can I say? I owe him.
You owe him one.
Where do you think it could have been better?
Overall?
Overall.
Starting with the beginning of the show, I've got my notes.
In the car. In the car. We have a lot of ideas about the opening number. A lot of that, the fact that we didn't get the ideas we wanted to work, was because of the pacing of the music. Because of the way it was written, supposedly, and granted, that's the way it was written. But we had a different idea. It was very dreamlike and slow and gentle in the beginning. And just took the audience and said, hey, hi, we're doing this now.
It's interesting because that matches what I had originally seen.
I wanted to see it explode. When they started into There Was a Beautiful Land, after the colors, and when it came up, when the lights came up, I wanted to see that stage explode.
That's a nice idea, but the vocal power was not there. And if you try to get people to do something they cannot do, everyone just ends up being disappointed. You have to work with what you have. And I'm sorry, but the vocal power just... Everybody kept saying, do that number louder and bigger, and I know everyone on that stage was singing as loud as they possibly could. Was giving it everything they had. They just don't have it yet.
Bella had an interesting idea about that, though. That there were true dancers and people that were more adept in singing. So having the dancers explode with the energy and the singers on the top platform just selling that number would have been really an interesting way to do it. We even thought about taking it into the audience. But that's making it into a real carnival. I mean, And the balloons on the side of the stage weren't that. And playing it coming down in the beginning of the second act was a lot of fun. I like that contact. I like breaking the fourth wall. We know they're out there. They know they're out there.
What did you feel like going down that aisle? You know, you have to make your entrance at the beginning of the play the same way.
Oh, yeah.
What's it feel like because you're out there with them?
Oh, God. Coming down, they weren't expecting us to be there. And it relaxed them, I think, at the beginning. Immediately, there we are, in the middle of them, and looking over the horizon on the set. Everything else going on. We found something. It's kind of like bringing them in immediately and telling them, hey, you can be a part of this too.
Did you play with the audience as you came in? Did you ever talk to any people?
I never got the chance to talk to them because I'm balancing this umbrella twice my size. But they laughed when they immediately saw the umbrella. They were just like, what is under there? And we smiled at them and we laughed with them. And I looked at them a lot. I played with them a lot. Being there. It was like they were my friends. Following me around. It was fun.
How did you find working with Harriet?
Working with Harriet. Harriet gave me a lot of security. As Peter was saying that singing wasn't his main drive in the theatrical world, I was scared to death to sing. Because singing has never been my strongest point. Harriet gave me a lot of confidence. Harriet's very patient and very unthreatening. And that's nice when you're standing there going, I don't want to sing, but I want to do this show. And you realize the two have to meet somewhere. She made you feel real comfortable. And she knows what she's doing. Those two of those together put me a lot more at ease.
Right leg back. You turn. Okay? Let's just practice this, the pivot. Bam. 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 Bam.
Adele pushed our bodies beyond the limit that a lot of us didn't know we had. So for that, I'm real thankful for her. She was always there to support us. She was always there when you most needed her. But I know Adele. Adele's more than just my choreographer. She's my friend.
And your stage manager.
And my stage manager.
You know, Fuzz, you worked real closely with Randy Harris, who played Sir. There was a lot of interplay the two of you had on stage that made the two characters more believable. What was that like? How did you do it?
How did we do it?
Yeah.
I think the thing that helped the most was the fact Randy loved being there so much. He enjoyed the whole process so much.
Must always know they take all your nerves. It's thank God there are too many presents like you.
And when he started really getting in touch with Sir, and really liking Sir, and then it was so much easier.
A wonderful morning like this. The sun's as big as a yellow canoe. Even the sparrows are singing in tune. All the wonderful morning like this. All the wonderful
Working with him and those characters, it was a conspiratory kind of thing.
What are the three things I'm always talking to you about?
Women, drink, and money.
No, not those three, the other three.
Coffee, pot, and beer.
No, not those three, the other three.
Honesty, integrity, and fair play.
Those are the ones. Honesty!
Integrity.
Exactly, and foul play.
Right.
Lesson number one.
It was like, it was fun.
You helped Randy get to the point that he could blow up and sputter on stage and be a nasty person. How did that feel?
Good. I felt like I helped one of my pals, but one of my fellow actors reach a point in the character they needed to reach to do the show to the best of their ability.
Was he able to give that back to you?
He helped me very much feel like a kid, feel like a child.
Attention, present arms.
almost a feeling of, not really fatherly, but he helped me build the atmosphere, he helped me build the environment. I could do no wrong on that stage with Sir. As long as I did what Sir wanted, I could do no wrong. That's like allowing a child loose in a candy store. It was fine. So there was a lot of give and take.
Did you find that the two of you ad-libbed? Because Randy had the problems with the lines. Did you find that there was any creativity online?
Oh, yeah.
If you had to do it again, would you do it again?
Hell yes. I had a good time. Excuse me. I had a very good time. I learned a lot. And the people I had the chance to work with. Some of my closest friends I have to work with.
It's turning into an acting troupe.
It is.
Did you do anything that you'd never done before?
Yeah. I sang in front of an audience and I wasn't shaking. All the way down to my toes. To my knees maybe, but not to my toes. I stretched a lot. I gave a lot. I got a lot back.
You helped Randy. We kid a great deal about losing weight and stuff. But you were telling me before, you feel better now than you've ever felt in your life.
When I got the part in Greasepaint and realized that I had to dance, again, it's like I've done leads in musicals and I'm fairly comfortable singing and I'm very comfortable acting, but I'd never had to dance. I had always been in the position that Peter was, in that being a lead, I could find my way to fake it around it. It's like if I could sing and I could act, they figured what the hell, 2 out of 3. I was doing physical feats that other members of the cast who had been further along in the beginning weren't doing. I learned to trust my own physicality. I learned to trust my own strength. And I liked that. And it seems to have been a permanent change in that the show's been over for a while, but I haven't lost that feeling yet.
How did this feeling come about?
The day I learned I could do a back walkover. It was like people didn't believe me when I told them it was a major breakthrough in my life. What are you talking about? But people like me shouldn't be able to do things like that. I'm physically inept, or so I thought. And Jay, who's a fine clown and gymnast in the cast, did this lovely handstand into a backwards, and I casually mentioned that I thought it would be wonderful to be able to do that, but I never could. And he said, well, of course you can. And in about 15 minutes I could. And from this day forward, I don't think I'll say I can't until I try it, because I found out something I thought I couldn't do, I could.
That seems to be something very, very wonderful to carry away from the show. How do you feel about the ensemble look?
Everybody just said, hey, give everything you got. Nobody felt intimidated. Nobody. And I'm speaking from the person with no experience on a stage ever, Mary Jo. Never had gotten on a stage in her life. And she felt so secure and so comfortable because everybody cared. And it wasn't just a matter of look good so we all look good. It was look good so you'll feel good. And that's a strange experience in a lot of theaters. There isn't that love and that warmth in a lot of theaters and in a lot of things you come in contact with. I don't care what anybody says. There was more love on that stage and more joy on that stage than a lot of people could understand me. We had a good time. We cared. But we're doing it. We're doing it. We had fun with it. Honest fun.
Lila?
Peter comes over to my house Saturday afternoon. He's green. From the top of his head down to his throat, he's green. He can't breathe. He goes into my bathroom and stays there 4 days. I have never been in a show where an hour before the show, or so it seemed, we switch leads, we switch everything in the chorus, and we all walk on stage and we do our job. And we enjoy doing our job. It's like, you know what I learned from this? That I could do a show under any circumstances. I'll do anything. I'll sing in the fine line at 11 o'clock at night in a white shirt, black tights, high heels in front of drunk lesbians. I'll do anything. I have no shame.
We realized on the bus the other day, we'll do anything. And thinking of that.
Yeah, let's go through a list of all of these things. We started out that weekend, Friday night at 11 o'clock in front of the drunk lesbians and wound up at 11 o'clock the Sunday morning in front of a bunch of devout Christians at St. Francis's Church with the same act.
With the same act.
And it worked that time.
The things we've done.
Appearing in rented convertibles with your legs over the windshield.
Available at gift shop.
Available at the gift shop. How did you find working with Mike Padilla?
Wonderful. I loved Michael.
1, 2, 3.
Let me stand with the Lord, everybody, to Valentine, the pleasure's mine. I may go that in order, wine.
But we clicked. He's rather flamboyant, extremely brash, and our styles just clicked.
It isn't enough to sit here having a purple fit, dear. Words that the world will burn up.
Okay, let's do that section. The introduction pitch, get up there. And let's try it from 91. I want you to listen to this. You're going to have one. Okay, let's do it again, okay?
We had so many in-jokes, we couldn't breathe sometimes for the laughing. We couldn't breathe sometimes for the jokes. We'd just look at each other from across the stage and just lose it, just completely lose it, because only we knew what was going on. We had jokes about Perry to beat the band.
Glad you brought up the critics. Glad you brought up the critics. Well, you've worked in Tucson theater for a number of years. You've worked with ATC. You worked in the production of Creeps, which was independent. You worked at the Invisible Theater.
At the university.
At the university?
Yes.
Where else?
Arizona Independent Theater Guild.
The Arizona Independent Theater Guild. I did a bit for Gaslight. I've worked everywhere except the one dinner theater that is open now, and it's only been recently open. A lot of the critics in this town seem to enjoy the poison pen. It seems to me that they get on a roll, and it's how catty can I be this week. They say things that are unnecessary, not pertinent. Their writing style is incorrect, their metaphors are mixed, they dangle their participles. I'm not impressed. I mean, what do they do in their real life anyways?
Do you feel, you've seen the videos of each of the performances, do you feel that what they said was valid?
I can't judge because I wasn't sitting in the audience. And for me, a videotape of a performance isn't the same thing. There's a certain amount of audience, performer energy going on that's impossible to... That's why theater is so ethereal, because you cannot capture that, you cannot explain it, and it's gone the moment it happens. It's like, so unless you're very secure in what you felt, you don't even believe it yourself. There was some wonderful stuff going on, but I wasn't sitting back as a critic with my pen in hand. I wasn't going, what's technically wrong with this? I'm sure there were technical holes a mile wide, but I don't think they caught the essence of, let's do our own show, your dad's got the folding chairs, you'll run props, you know, Mickey Rooney and Judy Garland, let's board up the barn. They didn't understand that that's what it was. They walked into TCC, they're used to seeing ATC there, and that's what they wanted. Slick, polished, professional LA actors who've been in the business 15 years, who could give a damn, who are going to pick up their paychecks and go home. It's not what they saw. If we'd have done it in a barn, we would have probably been treated completely different. But, like I said, we entrapped ourselves through the trappings of Slick. And we didn't live up to Slick. Not that that's what we promised, but that's what they expected. You can never assume your audience is bright.